a big moment that I enjoyed from your fresh and fit conversation with the guys was the 40%. 40.
Listen, man, dude, my subreddit made so many memes. There were pictures of like 50 planes like taking off from one airport. And it was like spring break, all the women flying to Dubai or whatever.
So it was you asked one of the hosts whose name I don't know. Fresh. You were talking about how many women are paid to go take boat trips with these men, and you're like, how many women from college?
What
or
percentage
whatever.
of women?
What percentage?
What percentage of college girls are being flown out to Dubai? Yeah.
And he said 40%. And it was just like, oh my God, how do we continue this conversation at this point, given that we live in different worlds? It actually caused me to reflect. What I realized is that people enforce a selection bias onto those that they interact with. People that won't tolerate them get the fuck out of there. And, you go to a Miami club, perhaps it feels like, and maybe is true, that 40% of the women there have been on a boat at some point. So I think to his experience, that number is far closer, even though it is not representative of women in general of that age group in the United States of America. And one of the things, I think that this is, I guess, what a rabbit hole is when you fall so deeply into a group of people, whether it's Miami Club girls or Croatia Yacht Week girls or whatever, that you start making generalizations about women based on what seems to be the way that type of person operates. And that seems like what so much of the red pill is about. They're always looking to trade up. They're always looking to do this. And I have had some of those beliefs in myself busted as I have become a different person and allowed and attracted different types of women into my life that wouldn't be caught at that club, that wouldn't cheat on their boyfriend with a superstar athlete, that, whatever, for religious reasons or just personal shame or just not being interested. And it's unfortunate because I understand and have been adjacent to that world, how believable that shit is when you are deeply ensconced and involved in it, and how someone who comes from the outside is like, that's not true. It's like, well, that guy has never been to the club. He doesn't get it. He hasn't had sex with the women that I've had sex with because they are all like this. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of reactions in watching that. That was just one.
It's incredibly important to ask those gauging questions. I try to do this now with everybody that I talk to because it gives me a good sense of where you're at. And if you've on an intellectual level, it'll tell me like, have you actually studied any of this topic? And then on an emotional level, it tells me how bought in you are to a particular thing. So how much work do I have to do? I thought it was incredibly telling that so earlier I gave the example of like a really strong BLM supporter asking them, how many unarmed black men a year do you think are killed by the cops? And hearing them say like thousands, probably thousands, 5,000, 6,000 or whatever, it's like, okay, you're 2 orders of magnitude off. You're so unbelievably wrong on this. And I understand why you feel the way, because like if 10,000 black men were dying every year to the police officers, that would be crazy. That would be insane. You should be that mad. When Matt Walsh was asked on Joe Rogan, how many children are going through, it was either trans surgeries or just taking like trans drugs. How many children, how many minors in the United States is affecting? His answer was millions. And I think Joe Rogan looked up in the show and the answer was like, it was like 5,000 over the past like 8 years.
Wow.
It was, was that 4 orders of magnitude off? And it's like, how, if your worldview is so warped that it's going to, that warped worldview is going to start to inform so many other opinions you have, that if you can't like go to the root of that and like readjust how you view the world, yeah, you're going to be completely lost when it comes to talking about almost any topic.
And Red Pill or Matt Walsh or whatever, those or cops, it says more about you, not in a good or a bad way, than it does about the world in general when you start to believe those things that are verifiably so disconnected from what the average population says. It tells you more about how you're selecting for that. Matt Walsh, you are hanging out in communities where this is the most important thing and needs to be viewed every day. Same thing with, if you're looking at the Red Pill guys or whatever, you're hanging out in a group of girls for whom this is true. And this tells me so much more about you than it does about women. And I think that is, one of the things that I get frustrated with Red Pill is that there's this general idea that, and I understand the underpinning behind it and have at times, leaned on it in arguments, which is like, men are rational, women are emotional. But the basic underpinning of Red Pill is an obsession with if women like you, which seems like the most irrational way to do, like to take these irrational creatures that you do not need to survive or whatever, and make your career, your hobby, your conversational topic, how to get more of them to be more interested in you, seems so deeply irrational, but is not explored in the red pill community. Yeah, so I just have my own frustrations in watching this, and I thought that you comported yourself well in those conversations, given some of the difficulties.